Hello, everyone. So, before we begin this episode, I would really like to thank you for your immense love and support on the first episode of the Invincible journey. Today on the show, we have another woman who has created millions and millions of content and name for herself in the industry of fitness and sports. तो आज की जो व्यक्ति है हमारे साथ, उन्होंने स्विमिंग शुरू किया है सिंस द एज ऑफ 6। उन्होंने सीबीएसई नेशनल लेवल पे ब्रॉन्ज मेडल भी अपने नाम किया है। शी इज एन इंस्पिरेशन टू मेनी पीपल आउट देयर एंड शी हैज ऑल्सो vision to transform and revolutionize the industry of fitness forever. We have termed her as Blogi. A Blogi क्यों? Because she's a yogi and she's a blogger too. Through her Instagram content, she has tried to motivate millions of people out there to take up yoga and meditation and make it as a lifestyle. She is very passionate about fitness and very passionate about what she does in terms of yoga and meditation. उन्होंने श्री सदगुरु जी का अंगमर्दना नामक एक कोर्स किया है which has structured her life in a better manner. वो कोर्स उन्होंने ईशा फाउंडेशन से किया है. So ईशा फाउंडेशन is a name itself. And ऐसी व्यक्ति हमारे साथ इस शो में है. We are more than honored and more than grateful to have her on the show. We are privileged that we have someone of her persona, of her aura on the show. So, the women in power, Surbhi Bobde.
So welcome to the show, Surbhi, and I'm really grateful and privileged to have you on the show. I feel lucky that someone like you, of your aura, of your persona, has come to the show, and it is genuinely an honor to have you. So thank you for your time. And before I was introducing you, I shot an introduction clip, and when I was introducing you, I was so proud. Like, you started swimming at the age of 6, and then you directly went into yoga. So when people take risks, I really love it. And if you take risks about sports and fitness, that is really commendable. So since 6, you were diving in the swimming pool, and now you are diving into yoga and meditation. So these two are very abstract things. So how did it come to your mind?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I hope you're doing fine. And thank you for your kind words. About your question, I know these are very, two different things that I've chosen in my life. So, like you just said, that I've been swimming since the age of 6. So that was something my mother got me into. Like, since the very beginning, more than what fitness interested me, it was more of my mother's idea. Like, she really wanted me and my elder brother to both be in sports, and for both of us to be in sports. So we started very young. Like, my brother used to swim, and then I started swimming. I started swimming. This is a funny story. I started swimming. I used to hate it. I used to tell her कि I used to tell her कि मैं कुछ भी करूँगी. I'll join dance classes या कोई और classes, but I won't swim. But I started loving swimming for the first time when I received my first medal. It was a bronze medal. I was very young. I was some 9 years old, and I was crying for the competition that I don't want to do it. But when I won my first medal, it was like a treat ki, oh, mehnat ka ye milta hai, everybody claps for you, you get a medal. So that is how I got into swimming, and then after that, I never looked back. So that is how I got into swimming. And about yoga and meditation, it got started in the pandemic. As we entered, like, there was no, I have always been outdoors. Like, sports has always been a thing. Like, outdoor sports have always been a thing for me. So when the pandemic started, I was like, okay, we don't have any option. But fitness or thoda movement is zaruri hai. Because uske bina, you don't feel, I never used to feel as a, it makes me calm down. Sports make me calm down. So then I started doing yoga, because we also needed the peace of mind, and I started reading that yoga and meditation are somehow related to your mental peace. They calm you down. So that is how I got into yoga and meditation eventually.
So that was really like a roller coaster thing, but it fell in place for you. But when you spoke about swimming, so you told me that you were not very serious about it, and when you got the first medal in swimming, so how was it? How was it about how? What was the experience when you just first got that medal, which you were not serious about, and you're not serious about, and you do that thing, and then you get rewarded. So how was that?
Yeah. So, like I told you that I was very, very, very young. So, in when you are a child, the only thing that keeps you excited or gets you excited is a reward. So I used to hate it. My mother used to take me, ऐसे जबरदस्ती उठा के she used to take me to the pool, and I used to cry. मैं जानबूझ के अपना कॉस्ट्यूम घर पे छोड़ देती थी, मतलब जाते टाइम. लेकिन वो फर्स्ट टाइम थोड़ा पुश किया मेरे पेरेंट्स ने, and even I did it, and just like by chance I got my first medal, and that was huge for me. That was like a treat for a 9-year-old. Ki, oh my god, this is what you get of all the hard work or whatever. So that amazed me more than my hatred for the sport. And then like the victory, the feeling of winning something of my own got me going, and that is where it started.
That's really amazing. Before we move on to the next question, at Invincibles, we were when we were going through your profile and when we, saw all the things we structured the interview. That time, only one thing came in our mind that you should be called a bloggy. It's a blogger and a yogi. So,
Yeah.
so from this platform, we really want to highlight whoever is watching this show and is getting inspired by you. They should call you Blogi because a blogger and a yogi is inside you. And through blogging, I've always seen your Instagram stories and all. You always try to inspire people and motivate people. So that is where the name comes up. So before we move ahead,
Thanks.
so before
You
we
gave
move
me a
ahead,
new nickname, like something I'll always remember. Very unique. Thanks.
yeah, that's really sweet of you. So you, in over the time, over the years, you started drifting from swimming and you went straight into yoga and meditation then. And yoga and meditation are always interlinked and connected. But and in today's monotonous world, people really find it difficult to, be calm and focus on what they do and be passionate about something these days. So I was not into this. I was like a person who he wants to do multiple things together. There was no calmness around. But when I started meditation, it really put me through it and it really increased my focus. So there's this term, very basic and very, people call it cliche, that is yoga se hi hoga. So do you really think it adds value in your life?
Okay. For me, it has worked wonders. Like personally, it has worked wonders for me. So I agree with the line yoga se hi hoga. But I would also like to say that सिर्फ योगा से ही नहीं होगा. मतलब योगा से बहुत कुछ अच्छा होगा, but then only that won't work. I am like, if you do it sincerely, if you take your meditations and your practices seriously, if you're consistent at it, it will do wonders for you. But if you are thinking सिर्फ उतने से ही तुमने एक बार meditation कर लिया, एक बार yoga कर लिया, otherwise you are just not taking care about yourself, because there are multiple things. So then you won't see the result of yoga se hi hoga. So there are like, it's a balance of everything. Just because you're practicing something, that doesn't mean, like, for me, I initially just when I started, so at that time I was just taking it slow. जैसे practice हो रही है, एक बार practice हो गया, and then I used to eat whatever I like. जो भी खाना है, ऐसे junk food खा रहे हैं, कभी भी सो रहे हैं. So उसके वैसा नहीं होगा. You have to balance everything, and you take it slow. It's not that कि तुमको पूरा ही अपना lifestyle एक साथ change करना है, but you slowly can do. You have to slowly work on each and everything. So then yoga के साथ और भी चीजें करोगे तो सब होगा slowly. I think
So
for me that is how it goes.
that is wonderfully put into words. And while you were speaking, you spoke about being consistent as well. So nowadays, if you see, people are, doing something or the other, some work comes up, in fact, if we talk about interview also, like we had scheduled this before and then something came up
Yeah.
and we just lost the schedule. So we are not consistent in our own lives as well. So how can we be consistent? How do you be consistent in doing yoga and meditation?
Okay. So my structure, like a lot of people ask me that how do I keep, I keep up with my workouts, because a lot of them have the same complaints of, मैंने start किया था पर 4 दिन बाद 5 दिन बाद छूट गया, या एक हफ्ते बाद बहुत अच्छा किया, एक महीना बहुत अच्छा किया, छूट गया. तो सबसे पहले तो I would recommend people to get to be consistent. You can start different, you can try different patterns. Like what I would suggest is that you can first of all don't invest in expensive gyms वगैरह कि अब ऐसा एकदम motivation I will go and you invest your money and then after 1 month you just so just,
Right.
it just gets wasted. So instead of that, you start working out at your pace. If you're sincere about it, you will start working out at your pace. Number 1. Number 2, what you can do is, what I did was, personally it worked out for me. I started working out on alternate days. So it did not build pressure on me. कि अरे यार हर दिन उठ के योगा करना है, हर दिन उठ के एक्सरसाइज करनी है. ऐसे नहीं कि मुझे वो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा था, बट ऑल्टरनेट डे तो तुम अपने बॉडी को ब्रेक भी दे रहे हो और तुम वर्कआउट भी कर रहे हो. So it works. और फिर धीरे धीरे when you start doing, so this is the second thing. You can take it slow. You can take it 4 days a week, or you can take it alternate, or you can take weekends off, whatever works for you. But don't, just because तुम्हें बहुत सारा motivation आया है right now, और तुम्हें पता है कि you have this habit of leaving एकदम से फिर से, so get into a pattern wherein you don't stop, wherein you give yourself enough breaks. Because all of a sudden, if you are you have no habit of working out, and then फिर एकदम से एक हफ्ता you rush your body through it, you'll of course leave it. So you take it ऐसे कुछ pattern में. So working out alternate day worked for me. Then again, for building consistency, I will tell you that once you start working out on alternate days, or whatever pattern you choose for yourself, after a little while, even in small bits, it will start showing you results. It takes months. I agree, it takes months, but it will show you some changes mentally, emotionally. तुम्हारी सोशल सर्कल से somebody will be proud of you. Your mom will tell you कि वाओ बेटा, ये बार तूने 1 महीने के बाद छोड़ नहीं दिया, you are taking efforts. तो even if वो तुम्हारे अंदर फिजिकली नहीं दिख रहा है चेंज, लेकिन अगर तुम्हारा कोई सोशल सर्कल बोल रहा है तुम्हें, या तुम्हारा कोई ऐसे तुम्हें मेंटली थोड़ा कामर लग रहा है, या उसके वजह से तुम्हें अंदर से फिजिकली एनर्जेटिक लग रहा है, सो यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली स्लोली बी कंसिस्टेंट. क्योंकि जब वो चीज पे कंडीशन होता है कि ओके तुम अच्छा कर रहे हो, उसके बाद में वो एक मोटिवेशन तुम्हें एक्सटर्नल साइड से ऑलरेडी मिलता है. सो दैट इज हाउ इट स्लोली बिल्ड्स. देयर इज नो सिंगल वे टू बी कंसिस्टेंट. सो इट्स लाइक अ प्रोसेस, इट बिल्ड्स एंड इट हैज डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स. लाइक बहुत बार it took a very long time. It took around 6 months to see a change in me, because I was only doing yoga. So for my body to get leaner, my body to get flexible, it took around 6 months. But through those 6 months, what took me was that I used to share my journey on my Instagram profile. So random people, my close friends, used to do it for me in the beginning. They used to motivate me. But then eventually the people who were watching me doing it every day, every alternate day, they somehow, somewhere came up on a random day and told me ki wow Surbhi, we are really proud of you. And on that particular day, if I was demotivated, that message made me work out. So consistency builds in weird ways. So what you have to do is find a pattern that suits you, work through it, push yourself through the first 2-3 months, and eventually it builds. You'll have to push yourself in the beginning, and eventually it builds. You yourself get serious about it, so it builds. So that is what.
Exactly. I guess people, whoever are watching you now, are really getting inspired, and I bet they're getting inspired because the way you have explained things, I guess anyone would be thoroughly consistent now. And to move ahead, we talked about consistency. We spoke about yoga and meditation, how we got through there. But was there anything which inspired you to take this path? any kind of situation which happened to your life, or any kind of lifestyle you wanted to change? How did it inspire you?
Okay, so swimming ka to you realized कि I got a medal, so that is how I got into swimming, and that is what inspired me. About yoga and meditation. Okay, so as we all know, pandemic was a sudden tense time for us, you know? And everybody was looking for mental peace because you did not have your friends to go out and went out to. So you had to look inside within you. So something that is very close to it is yoga or meditation. Okay. So how I got into it was there's this friend of mine. He's a very close friend of mine. So he used to meditate, and he always used to tell us, me and another friend of mine, to start meditation. So I was like, why shouldn't we give it a try? If he's feeling so good that he's suggesting people to do it again and again, he's made me suggestions some 4-5 times. So one random day it came to me, let's try it. So I tried this 12-minute meditation by Sadguru Ji. It's called Isha, and I tried to do it every day because it says that you should do it every day for some number of days. So I was like, hum ye karenge, let's take up this challenge. So that is how I got into meditation. Okay? And then yoga ka, this is funny, but because my Instagram shows me things related to fitness, it started showing me posts that are related to yoga. And they inspired me a lot. Like gymming वगैरह से ज़्यादा, it looked like कि this is so beautiful. Like people who practice yoga, they portray it beautifully. There is flexibility, there is strength building. It looks amazing, and every yoga posture has a beautiful story behind it. Like every yoga posture, almost all of them. I'm not sure if all of them have it, but all the yoga postures have a beautiful story behind it. So that is what got me interested. So I started, looking at YouTube channels, ki kaise main seekhu vagere, and that is how it changed me. So so the incidents that got me into this was that number one, I was looking for something more peaceful, something more calmer that will also make me fit. And the suggestion of my friend, I am really thankful to him that he suggested it to me because it really changed a lot of things for me.
Before we move ahead, big shout out to the friend of yours who has, helped you, because that has really built you as a person, and everyone can see it now, the way you're speaking about it, the way you're passionate about it. I guess ऐसा होता है ना कि एग्जीक्यूट करना बहुत इजी हो जाता है जब यू हैव अ प्रॉपर मोटिवेशन एंड अ प्रॉपर सपोर्ट टुवर्ड्स इट. एंड I guess the seed of yoga which he put it inside you is now growing it like a huge tree. So big shout out to him. And you were speaking about postures, about yoga postures, which is also called as asanas or asanas. And so is there a specific favorite posture or asanas which you can do it, like if I wake you up at 3 a.m. and I'll say Surbhi kuch karke dikhao, and that'll be your go-to thing, that this is my forte basically?
Okay, so this might be my favorite question. The thing that you said, that should be 3 baje uth ke chaliye yoga karke, I will do it. I'm not crazy for it. I absolutely love inversions. Like I love headstands, forearm stands. I'm not at the handstand as of now. I can't do it properly, but I'm very good with my headstands, my forearm stands, and I love it. The reason why I love it is that it simply makes me feel strong. And I've really worked very hard for it. Like forearm stands, when I was learning the forearm stand, like I learned all of my yoga online. That is how it started. Yeah. So it amazed me a lot कि wow, लोग अपने सर पे कैसे balance कर रहे हैं पूरे body को वगैरह. So that is how I got attracted to it. Then I started working towards it. So I watched multiple videos, and that is how I got interested. So inversions are my favorite forms of asanas, and I've got injured. I've got a lot of injuries doing them, like trying to, get better at it, but they are all worth it. I will do it.
Exactly.
I will absolutely, if you wake me up at 3 a.m. and you'll tell me कि Surbhi upside down होके बता रात को 3 बजे, I'll do it. I love it. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. All your it feels very calm when you relax after that posture. Like all your blood flows through your head and all that. It feels really amazing. The balance that you're able, the fact that you're able to hold your body in that posture, it makes you feel that yes, you have complete control over your body. The fact that you're able to hold it, you're not falling down, it makes me realize that the steering wheel of my body is in my hand. I'm feeling balanced. I can, hold my body the way I want it to be. And it's a very it's a very fancy asana also. So that is another reason why I like it. So yeah.
You have become a very, very strong personality. And I guess it is yoga plays a very huge role on it, because I could see while you were answering this question, you had already did that asana in your mind. So yeah, I can relate to it, because when you're into sports and when you're into fitness, I guess that is what keeps on going in your mind always. So सबको नहीं पता ये चीज, but you pointed out in your questions that you started yoga by watching YouTube tutorials. तो बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता होगा ये चीज जो follow you on Instagram या जो अभी देख रहे हैं हमको. So this is a really inspiring thing that people always find out ways to escape situations कि यार अभी कोर्स नहीं है, कैसे करूँ, कैसे सीखूं या क्या करूँ. But you found out a way through YouTube and तुमने वहां से सीखा. And then through videos and tutorials, I could really see Instagram pe the way your postures are. It is really good stability, a strong core. So उसके बाद respected Sadguru Ji का जो course तुमने किया is Angamardana, if I'm not mistaken by the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Right. And so what was your journey? Like एक time पे you were just sitting on your bed watching a video of how to do a posture and then completing this course of the respected Sadguru Ji. Tell us, run through the journey.
Okay, so first of all, my friend helped me, and then I started seeing things on Instagram and on other social medias that and that got interested me in yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, whatever we want to learn today, we first go and open YouTube, and then we start looking at it. Yeah. So one day I wanted to, learn how to, get back straight on your feet from chakrasana. Mm-hmm. So that was the first time when I opened YouTube and I Googled ki chakrasana and how you get back on your feet without, sitting down and stuff. So that is the day that when I found this particular YouTube channel that I started following. Then she was a very sweet person, and her tutorials were slow, and she took me step by step through whatever. They were like, अच्छे से they were structured. So that is how I started looking on YouTube channels. फिर उसके बाद में वहाँ से I learned a lot, like बहुत सारी चीजें, बहुत सारे postures जिसमें मुझे confusion होता था, वैसे मैं अलग अलग channels से ढूंढ के वैसे मैंने अपनी journey start की. But it made me realize not to disrespect the people who are posting their videos online. Of course, they know a lot. They know their sport and they know what they're doing. They know their practice. That is why they are able to so confidently put it forth on the YouTube channels. So that is there. But what I personally thought that I did that I watched the YouTube videos and did yoga for a very long time. Like for 6 months, 5 months, I used to do yoga looking at those videos. But then slowly, as in when I started getting into the practice, I realized that yoga is not something that you can only learn by, watching the videos. Mm-hmm. Because there is so much to it. There are very minute things that are there, which are supposed to be done physically with somebody. Like somebody should tell you कि तुम्हारे पैर ऐसे नहीं ऐसे रहने चाहिए, या तुम्हारे हाथ कैसे रहने चाहिए, तुमने कितना डिस्टेंस रखना चाहिए. ये सब बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें which nobody can cover in a video. Yeah,
Right.
because it will get too long, it will get too monotonous, and it's not their fault, but it's just not like doable. So
Yeah.
that is when I thought that YouTube is great if you want to start for initial time. It's great, but eventually you'll have to find a structure, that is more, that helps you more. Like कोई सामने है, कोई actual
Right.
teacher जिसने course किया हुआ है, somebody who's actually learned it from somewhere, and then the person is teaching you. Correct. So that is when I found this course. Isha centers होते हैं, सब जगह होते हैं, ठीक है. So you'll find it in Bombay, you'll find it in Nagpur, you'll find it everywhere. So there are people who are volunteers of the Isha Foundation. They are teachers who go through the training for 6 months, and then they come and they teach here. So there are a lot many yoga classes that you can go to, but because I was already doing something related to Isha Foundation, the meditation that I started, I chose Angamardana, which is taught by the volunteers of Isha Foundation, which is a hatha yoga format by Sadguru. So that is how I did the course. And the YouTube channel that I was following, she was amazing. She taught me a lot. But then when I went to this course, I realized that there were so many things that I was not aware of. I was just simply doing things. There were little things that were to be taken care of. So that is my journey of how I started from YouTube channels, but then eventually I found a better structure. And then now whatever I learned there, I practice that every day.
So I am like, when you were speaking, I was suddenly lost in thoughts, and I was like really mesmerized by the knowledge you have, because in a short span of time, the depth of knowledge which you have is really, to the point and precise. So hats off to that, and I am really inspired by you, and I guess people who are watching us now also are getting inspired by the way you speak and the way you have carried on with your journey. And I hope you have great success ahead as well. So
Thank you.
एवरी टाइम हम लोग जो भी करते हैं जिंदगी में, वी ऑलवेज ट्राई कि इससे कुछ बेनिफिट हो अपने लाइफ में, या इट एड्स वैल्यू टू आवर लाइफ, या कुछ फायदा हो जाए जिंदगी में. एंड मेडिटेशन एंड योगा के इतने बेनिफिट्स है, इतने फायदा है, ये आई गेस सबको पता है. इन शॉर्ट, it is not something which we need to sit in front of someone and teach them. Everyone knows how yoga and meditation benefits us. बट फिर भी काफी लोग अब तक योगा एंड मेडिटेशन पे डाइवर्ट नहीं कर पाए खुद का माइंड, या योगा एंड मेडिटेशन पुट इनटू प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर पाए. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, व्हाट इज द मेजर प्रॉब्लम व्हाई पीपल आर नॉट कनेक्टिंग टू दिस?
Okay, this is something that I also faced, and I think the only word of the problem is the patience. It requires a lot of patience.
Right.
Meditation is something wherein you'll have to close your eyes and sit at that place without moving for around 10 to 15 minutes, without your phone, without your friends, just sitting there, which is something that we haven't been doing since a very long time. So naturally, because we are not in a habit of doing that or sitting still. Stillness is not there.
Right.
If you just take a moment right now and think, when was the last time that I just sat? Even my eyes weren't closed and my phone was not in my hand. I just sat there for 10 minutes. Do you remember any time that you did it? Any recent? Did you it?
Yeah. Exactly. Like when I started meditating, actually. So initial days में कैसा होता है पता है? When you close your eyes and when you sit, so वो time पे there are various thoughts in your mind कि यार phone check कर लो, क्या notification आया होगा. Like initial days. But
correct.
when I started meditating, I was focusing on the Mooladhara, like the sixth chakra of body. So उसमें I was doing that for stability and focus. So शुरू में बहुत इनिशियली स्टेज पे बहुत दिक्कत हुई अबाउट कि माइंड भागता है इधर उधर, बट देन धीरे धीरे व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट रेगुलरली, तो अब इट इज लाइक ओके, दिस इज लाइक has been a routine basically. I get up in the morning, I just take bath and stuff, and I sit for meditation, and it really changes you as a person.
Correct. So you like took efforts, but initially it was difficult for you also.
Very,
you were
very.
also all over the place. So like you asked me that what is the problem that people face, and which is why they cannot get into yoga and meditation like that easily. So initially, because you don't have the habit of sitting still and just keeping all your thoughts to yourself, it gets tricky. You're all over the place. तुम्हें ऐसे कुछ चीजें आ रही है दिमाग में जो ओ माय गॉड मुझे ये बताना रह गया, मेरी बेस्ट फ्रेंड को ये बताना रह गया, ये करना रह गया, ये रह गया, ये सब तुम जब शांत बैठो तुम्हें आता है, और then you are just in a mind की you're just thinking कि कब मैं उठ के वो चीज करूं, and it gets lost. तो वो patience जो है, the thing of sitting somewhere for 5 minutes doing nothing is very difficult, is something that is difficult, and which is a little prick part, because of which people cannot get into meditation. About yoga, okay, so ये हो गया meditation के बारे में. About yoga, it is कि yoga is a physical exercise which is which has moment, which has a flow, and it is a slow practice. Even if like the practice that I do, Angamardana, is a high intensity yoga workout, but then it still will be less intense than a gym workout, or it will be less intense than a run, or of any other of that sort, of any workout of that sort. So the thing is because it's a slow process, it's a slower pace, and it takes maybe a longer time. Like my workout takes me, my only yoga session takes me 1 hour. So and as soon as we start working out, we start looking for results as soon as we start working.
Right.
So कैसे होता है कि जिम में वगैरह जाके हमें रिजल्ट्स दिखते हैं, थोड़ा उसमें भी टाइम लगता है ऑब्वियसली, बट हमें थोड़े पहले रिजल्ट दिखता है. अबाउट योगा, it takes a little time for your body to get leaner, for your body to get stronger. Uska you practice it for 6 months, and then you'll feel, I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say is it takes a little time through yoga to build strength and to build flexibility. It takes time.
So basically again, it's a slow and gradual process.
It's a slow and gradual process. All of them are, but yoga is even like
slightly
at a
more
slower pace. It takes a little while for if you're doing everything to have a weight loss, like to lose your weight. So anybody would say that yoga से यार कितने रीडर है, there are friends of mine who are like कि वो हुआ practice in yoga, but they're like कुछ change ही नहीं दिख रहा, उससे better तो मैं जिम ही कर रही थी. तो वैसे होता है, ठीक है. So that when you're तो अगर तुम कमिटेड भी हो, अगर तुम रोज भी वर्कआउट कर रहे हो, बट अगर तुम्हें रिजल्ट नहीं दिख रहा, तो इट एनॉयज यू समवेयर कि मैं इतनी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ. तो वो भी एक चीज है जिसकी वजह से पीपल फाइंड इट डिफिकल्ट टू गेट इनटू yoga, and that is why people are more towards other physical exercises only. That is also fair. They have a point if that gets them motivated. But then I think personally that is something which holds people back. कि result नहीं दिख रहा जल्दी, तो they get frustrated and they look for alternatives that will give them faster solutions. So as per me is what I think is the problem.
Okay, so this is a really huge problem. Like if people see it in a wider picture, because eventually आगे और जिंदगी बहुत ज्यादा मोनोटोनस होने वाली है, and बहुत ज्यादा it is a competitiveness everywhere. But सबको नहीं पता होगा शायद, but we know each other since college days, and you used to live in a hostel with your friend, and leaving your hometown and coming in some other city, तो प्रेशर डालता होगा मेंटल हेल्थ पे. सो ऐसा कुछ सिचुएशन हुआ जिसके वजह से यू फेल्ट लाइक एवरीथिंग इज lost, and then when you started meditating or you started yoga, it changed you as a person. So when you look back at the 3 years which passed in your life, and now you look at yourself, did it change you as a person? Did yoga and meditation change you as a person?
You have seen me in college. What do you think?
Of course it has. Of course it has.
Okay. So, of course, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Like talking about those 3 years and talking about who I am now, there is a huge difference. Like there were multiple factors in my life that also like helped me through it. But if we only talk about yoga and meditation and how it got me through it, it's a different bliss. Like when I was in Bombay, when we were like in our graduation years, I used to go to the gym. After I come back from college, after all the work, I used to go to the gym because fitness was important for me. And living in a hostel वगैरह, it gets very difficult. लेकिन fitness important है, इसलिए for the sake of fitting, just being fit, I used to go to the gym. But there was still something, कि it was just like everything is a hustle. क्योंकि मुझे fit रहना है, इसलिए मैं वो कर रही हूँ. So it did not show results for me. It might have done for other people. There were more people who used to go and work out after their colleges. But it personally, for me, it did not show any results. And when I started yoga and meditation, that was in the lockdown. The pressure was obviously comparatively very low. मतलब बाकी सब चीजों का. So that was another positive factor, that helped me through it. I was in the comfort of my house. I had time in my hands. So, and I don't know how, but luckily I had the patience to do it. So, what I'm saying is कि अगर ऐसा है कि तुम नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो जैसे मेरा है 1-1 घंटे का वर्कआउट होता है, मतलब लंबा हो जाता है वो उतना. ऐसे में छोटे छोटे भी होते हैं. तुम स्मॉल वर्कआउट्स कर सकते हो या तुम आधी प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. आधी एज इन हर एक इसके सेट्स कम कर दो या जितना तुम्हें मन कर रहा है उतना करो. So that will also help you.
Right. So lockdown played an important role because it, we all were putting in weight, but you put on a great habit, which is eventually helping you and would help you in your life further. So we revolved around yoga and meditation for quite a lot of time. But one major thing which, you won in your life was the bronze at nationals. So what was that feeling? Because competing in a national level in swimming is a achievement in itself, but getting a medal at that level is a task, and it requires a lot of dedication and focus and practice to it. So how was your journey about going through the nationals and winning that medal?
Okay, that brings back a lot of sweet memories. It's been a few years. I don't recall the exact year in which I won the national bronze level, but that was a CBSE competition. And I think I won it in my favorite event, that is 50-meter backstroke, something. So I really, I think that I deserved it. I think I deserved even better because I worked really, really hard for it. That since the age of 9, since the time that I won that first medal of mine, I never looked back. It was a very strict schedule since childhood. We used to wake up at 5. We used to go for a run. Then we used to work out on the ground. Then we used to go to the swimming pool. We used to swim there for 2 hours. Then in the evening, we used to repeat the practice again. We used to go to the ground. And so over these years, I've worked a lot. Since I was 10 years old, so to around 15, 16. So around 6 years, 5 years, I've put in a lot of efforts. Not only me, my mom, she has worked a lot. She's worked really, really hard for me. For us, me and my brother, both of us. So it's a combined effort. And I failed. All these years also, we were going for competitions and we were getting selected, sometimes not. And a lot of times we were coming fourth, or, we were just the last person to end. and everything. So we have failed. I have failed a lot many times. But the feeling that after around 5 to 6 years, it eventually worked out. So I remember the moment when I was called to receive the medal. I went there running. I had no, what should I say? I was not conscious about who is calling me, what are people saying. As soon as I heard my name, that Surbhi Bobde, 50-meter backstroke, third medal, I just went running to the podium. Yes, give that to me. I deserve it. So it is a wonderful feeling. You know it. Whenever if there are things that you might have worked really really hard upon, and they might not show up, but someday, even if they show up a little, or the day you actually get the results that you expected, the feeling is amazing. It's beautiful. It's worth all the hard work. You
Right.
like when I used to get up at 5, I used to feel कि मैं हर दिन मम्मी को मम्मा क्यों करना है यार, इतने सुबह उठ के जाना है, उसके बाद पूरे दिन स्कूल करो, फिर आने के बाद खा के फिर से स्विमिंग के लिए भागो, फिर रात को 10:30 बजे आके I used to pass out every day. I don't remember being staying up late more than 10:30 all my childhood, because we used to be so tired that I used to fall on the bed and sleep, and then I used to wake up at 4:30 again. So all that showed its results very late. So we had to keep the patience. I had to keep pushing myself. My mom had to keep pushing me ki thoda aur next year, because once you fail you had to wait for another year for that
Right.
competition to come.
Right.
So getting yourself through that year again is difficult, but it eventually gets better. It eventually shows the results, so it works
Right.
out.
I guess ये गलत नहीं होगा if we say that we replace consistency to Surbhi, because that word really defines you. And yeah, it is very difficult, like being playing a sport myself. I understand, like एक बार अगर हार गए तो सीधा अगले साल दूसरा मौका मिलता है. So all that 8-9 months which you worked off season, it suddenly goes waste, and then putting back through it really, is a task, and I can relate to that. Yeah, you
I
wanted
won't
to.
call it a waste. Like,
Yeah,
it did teach you something. It taught you
exactly.
patience.
Mm-hmm.
It gave you a taste of failure, which is very important. Like, if I would have gotten the medal in the first year itself, it wouldn't have been that special for me that I would celebrate it even today. The fact that I'm celebrating it even today is because for straight 4-5 years I've failed it.
Right.
And it felt like shit. अब कितना इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद में वापस अगले साल. So
Right.
that, and the fact that you said that you can put my name with consistency, I'm really honored, to have that word along with my name. But I would be very honest to the audience, whoever is watching,
Mm-hmm.
that guys, I have my slacky days as well, even today. Like,
Exactly.
just this past week has been really slacky. I don't know, I'm just not finding the motivation to get up like early and do my practice. And I was like beating myself up for it for the initial 4-5 days कि क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा मेरे से, मतलब initial 2-3 days कि क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा मेरे से, मैं क्यों नहीं पा रही. But then I would also like to say कि जितना consistent रहना important है, giving yourself a break is also important. Because अगर break लेने पे you are beating yourself up कि ये क्या हो रहा है, अभी तक कितना अच्छा चल रहा था और सब, तो that is also a thing that is getting toxic. Taking a break when you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Taking a break is important, क्योंकि अगर वो समय पे जहाँ तुम्हें बहुत बिटर लग रहा है कि अभी नहीं करना है पर तो भी जबरदस्ती कर रहे हो, it eventually ना उस कुछ दिनों के लिए तुम कर लोगे, फिर उसके बाद तुम इतने इरिटेट हो जाओगे कि you will give it a complete break. तो giving a complete break is better than taking a small amount of time for yourself, not beat yourself up for it, and then start again. It's
Right.
okay. You are already, praise yourself for doing it for like 3 weeks continuously and then taking a 3-day break. I think it's fair. So
Right. So at that point, you need to keep on motivating yourself, and yeah, break is also important in life. But a lot of people in the fitness industry, they are not good speakers, or they can't communicate. They think a lot and they have knowledge, but they can't communicate well the same thing, and it is misinterpreted by the audience as a whole. So, and I could see your Instagram, you blog, like you literally tell people the steps on your stories. I've seen it, I've read it, like what to do, how to do. And if people ask you questions, you're straight to the point and precise. You have clarity of thoughts. So how did blogging came into picture? Like you put it into practice, it benefited you. And then when was the time you thought that like now I'll start, sharing my journey with people?
Okay, so because that is something like blogging is something that I personally like. Well, I like putting things creatively. I like recording things, everything. So that is how I started. Like initially, I just when I started, I just used to put my practice. एकदम स्टार्टिंग से ही I never used to say कि ये करो या ऐसे steps. तो मैं पहले बस whatever I'm doing, I used to record that, edit that, and put it. Then eventually, people used to ask me कि ये जो आप कर रहे हो, अगर मैं headstand कर रही हूँ तो ये आप कैसे कर रहे हो, मतलब क्या करना पड़ेगा, कैसे क्या क्या steps करूँ मैं वगैरह. तो when people started asking me, तो and when I felt comfortable and confident about giving out information कि ठीक है ऐसे ही करने से मतलब ये correct है, जिसके लिए मैं बहुत sure होती थी, तो उसके लिए I started writing. जैसे जब मुझे for the time जब मुझे नहीं पता था कि योगा एक आसन के स्टेप्स कैसे होते हैं, सो आई यूज्ड टू गिव स्टोरीज बिहाइंड इट कि अगर कुछ शेयर करना है मुझे ऑन माय ब्लॉग, तो कुछ गलत शेयर करने से बेटर है कोई उसके पीछे की स्टोरी क्या है, वो आई यूज्ड टू शेयर कि कोई आसन के पीछे की स्टोरी क्या है. देन पीपल स्टार्टेड आस्किंग कि कैसे करना है. तो जो इसको मैंने अच्छे से मास्टर कर लिया है और जो मुझे पता है कि ऐसे होता है, फिर उसमें इन शॉर्ट पॉइंट्स आई यूज्ड टू पुट इट कि ऐसे 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 करना है. So that is how it started building. Even today, I do give out points which I feel that I'm like which are correct, which are actually correct, ताकि किसी को injury नहीं हो. Because कोई भी physical sports के लिए अगर तुम्हें अच्छे से नहीं पता है तुम क्या कर रहे हो, तो giving out tips to anybody else is just not, it's just not fair. So even today, I do give out tips on whatever I think I know completely. Otherwise, I try to put something in my blog in a way, like I'll put it in a way that inspires people just to, get started and not tell them ki kya karna hai. Like my blog will inspire you to get into yoga, but it cannot teach you yoga abhi. I'm not a teacher. I'm somebody who's trying to motivate you, or I might educate my audience in a way कि अगर तुम्हें योगा करना है तो you can refer to this is. I did Angamardana, you can do Angamardana as well. तुम और भी जो है ऐसे I can educate. So that is how it started. And I think even like motivation or pushing people, या ऐसे अगर तुम बार बार देखते हो कि कोई कर रहा है तो वो भी तुम्हें help करता है. तो that is how I run my blog. I run my blog नहीं actually. It's not a very ऐसे कि मुझे मेरा blog run करना है. It's a very unfiltered way of how I live my life. Like whatever is there on my Instagram is something that I do every day. So
that's really commendable. And like anyone who goes through your Instagram account just for a minute would be inspired, and I can bet on it, and I can challenge you over it. Like anyone, if I'll just put out your Instagram account now, and I see your profile or I see your stories, it really adds value in life, because the way you put up your stories also is very creative, so that we take a minute, we stop, we read. So that is really salute to you for that. And before we end this interview, one thing, if I want to start yoga and meditation today, if any of our viewers want to start yoga and meditation today, what is that first step we need to take to start a journey?
Okay, so I would like to say that first of all, sit down and tell yourself that it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's not going to be easy. Okay. These are the three things. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, and it's not going to be easy. Okay. Second, I think you should start with meditation. Like, just sit. Even if you don't have a structure कि कैसे meditate करना है, तुम्हें नहीं पता कि क्या बोलना है या जो भी हम जैसे ओम वगैरह वगैरह बोलते हैं, वो भी अगर तुम्हें नहीं पता है तो it's okay. You start by sitting at a place. Put a timer of 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever you think your capacity is. Put a timer, keep your phone aside, put the net off or put the ringer off. Tell the people at your place कि 5-10 minutes, please मेरे room में मत आओ. You sit still and you just stay there. You close your eyes and you stay there. Initially, ऐसे भी चलेगा, ठीक है? This is how I got into meditation कि धीरे धीरे एकदम. Don't ऐसे वो कि लोग तो 20 मिनट meditation करते हैं और इतने अच्छे से करते हैं. It's okay. Don't care about them. They are at a different place in their lives. You are at a different place. You're just starting. So you do it for 7 minutes again. Then if you find कि तुम्हें थोड़ा better structure चाहिए, तो मेरे हिसाब से ईशा क्रिया अगर आप डालोगे YouTube पे, तो ईशा क्रिया is a 12 minutes meditation. 12 minutes. वो पूरा मतलब वो तुम स्पीकर पे लगा के रख दो तुम्हारे बाजू में फोन पे, या you put your earphones on. They will instruct you in the initial 4 minutes कि तुम्हें किस direction में बैठना है, कैसे बैठना है, कैसा फ्लो रहेगा पूरे मेडिटेशन का. They will tell that to you and you can practice that. ठीक है? That is how you can start meditation. Slowly you will like practicing it. Just make sure that उसके लिए for initial कुछ days you'll have to push yourself and do it for yourself. Do it. ठीक है? थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट रहेगा कि रोज ऐसे क्या बैठने से कुछ नहीं फील हो रहा वगैरह वगैरह. It takes time. That was the first thing that we talked about. Okay, so that is how you can start meditation. And now, if now everything has started offline again, so if you want to start practicing yoga, if like so many options are open to you for fitness. तुम्हें अगर कोई स्पोर्ट्स अच्छा लगता है या तुम्हें जिम जाना अच्छा लगता है, whatever makes you feel good about it, good about fitness, you do that. But अगर तुम्हें personally yoga start करना है, तो you can start by finding a structured class. I would recommend to go to a class and then learn. YouTube channels are great. That is how I started. But then now that everything is offline and accessible, go find a yoga class, some person that is trustworthy. And I think yoga classes can get a little pricey, but it's okay. Matlab, it's the art that even the teachers have learned by investing a lot of time and everything. And the thing that they will teach you for that money will be worth it. So they can get a little pricey. You can find any alternatives that you like and are good and you feel are good. So getting into a class can be a good thing. If you don't want to invest just now, just अगर तुम श्योर नहीं हो कि तुम वो करोगे कि नहीं, you are like somebody very very new to it, और तुम्हें जैसे बहुत सारे लोगों को जिम नहीं पसंद आता, ठीक है, तो उसके बाद क्या. सो अगर तुम्हें इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना है तो तुम ठीक है, फिर उस समय के लिए अगर तुम्हें टेस्ट करना है कि तुम्हें योगा सूट कर रहा है कि नहीं, तो वैसे तो उसे बहुत समय लगेगा तुम्हें मतलब फिगर आउट करने के लिए कि तुम्हें अच्छा लग रहा है वो पोजीशन में, वो आसन में रह के. बट अगर तो भी तुम्हें टेस्ट करना है तो तुम थोड़े टाइम के लिए यूट्यूब वीडियोस देख सकते हो. उसमें तुम थोड़ा ट्रायल एरर करो स्टार्टिंग में. तुम्हें कौन से चैनल्स अच्छे लग रहे हैं, विच चैनल यू आर लाइकिंग, हु इज दैट पर्सन जिसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस पे तुम बैठ पा रहे हो, कर पा रहे हो. यू विल फाइंड समबडी, यू विल फाइंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर प्रैक्टिसिंग योगा on matlab who have yoga related YouTube channels. So that is how you can start, and eventually you can move towards structured class.
Yeah, I guess this has been a very informative and value addition video, and people who are watching you now have literally have a skeleton ready in their mind, because if they are sitting with a pen and paper and they are noting down points, They have a proper structured way on how to go about it, and hats off the way you have explained things. I guess it has added, on a personal level, it has added a value to my life as well. So that is what our very own Blogi does. And I guess whatever people support you, just put Blogi down there in the comments below. And Surbhi, thank you so much for your time. I hope you achieve great success in your life ahead. And maybe we could just go through our Instagram one day and we could see testimonials of people, putting your things into practice, and someday in life, your own course. So thank you so much for your time.
I hope so too. Thank you so much for having me. When you asked me to come for this interview, I said yes in one go. I think I did not even think twice. I was like, something like, I am one of you people. Whoever is watching, I am one of you guys. I started my journey, just because I wanted to do something, and today it has changed me as a person. I am not even, speaking too confidently about myself, but I will tell you guys that all my close friends or my social circle or the people who don't even know me that closely, they come and tell me that I'm doing really good. And I think you guys can take their word for it. And like, doing good as in, I have changed a lot as a person. I was a person who had a lot of anger issues. I used to get, I used to cry, aise bahut jaldi se ho gaya. But it has changed. It teaches you multiple things apart from fitness. Sports is all about that. I think not only yoga and meditation, all the sports, any sport you play football. It hasn't even, gotten you physically strong. It has gotten you mentally strong, emotionally stronger. It has taught you values of being in a team and everything. So I think it's amazing. You should do it. Like, you should get into something that helps you move. Whatever it is. And you guys can DM me, or Mithilesh is going to put my name, so you can find me on Instagram. And if you have any doubts, you can talk to me. I hope I can help, and I hope you like the session. Thank you so much, Mithilesh, for
thank you so much. So before guys,
on this podcast.
So guys, I am putting Surbhi's Instagram ID in the description, so you can go and check out her content there. And she is always ready to help in a go. And I can assure you, whatever things or whatever queries you have about yoga and meditation, she would happily answer them. So maybe we'll have a thorough podcast once again, wherein we'll directly talk about how your journey was and which asanas helped you in your life. We would have one more podcast, and through the end of this podcast, I really ask you for that again. Like, one day we would have this podcast wherein you talk about the postures and everything, and it'll be great for the audience. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you guys. Take care.